Welcome to Stir Crazy Sailing and Adventures. I'm Dennis. I left a career I enjoyed to pursue the activities that I love, with the aim of single-handing a sailboat from Lake Michigan to the Caribbean.
That's just a bad idea.
I expect some success,
Not a job for a single-handed sailor.
and some failure along the way, but that's part of the adventure. I'll also share with you how I try to stay healthy and fit as I go. Having you along will make this trip even more fun. Thanks for joining me. There's real sailing coming your way this week, folks.
Dude. Kind of scary in there. Better without the light. Like me.
After making my way to Sheboygan, in the last episode I was pinned down by storms. I was happy that I got underneath the Mackinac Bridge, and then afterwards subscribers Mark and Beth let me know that the Mackinac Bridge Authority donates to nonprofit organizations 25 trips a year to the top of the bridge. Thank you. I was bummed by the bad weather. I have been pinned down by the weather. This is my second day of high winds and rain and storms. Today, it's windier and rainier, and I'm going nuts. And I'm headed out into the weather. Sheboygan doesn't always look like this. It's a sunny, happy place a lot of the year, but I was being drowned by rain and thinking about how close it is to Mackinac and its ferry, and actually learning that Sheboygan has its own ferry that goes out to Boys Blank Island, Boblo Island to the locals. It's a sleepy place, which is really off the beaten path.
Maybe hot chocolate. I'm trying not to be frustrated by the weather. I would like to make more progress faster.
Feeling a bit displaced on the bench and being bummed out by the bad weather, I did get a little bit of sunshine from the student art in the park, but the failure of the weather was making me also think about the failures of the boat.
There are other items that can fail, nuts, bolts. I've got some stuff, but the more I look at the boat, the more I think I need. So today, I'm going to be taking a ride to the hardware store. I broke a piece of hardware. I broke a hasp, it bent. And I rigged this temporarily, but it's just the downhaul. That piece of hardware is okay for what it has to do for the moment, but I didn't have a proper sized hasp, so that will do. It'll be a while before I get to a real sailing supply store. And normally I would ride a mountain bike, but today I've got an opportunity to ride something really special.
A dark gray day, but dry between the storms.
Just nice to be out on the open road on a great bicycle. Not a marina store, but holy smoke. Lots of small fasteners, that's what I need. Impressive. The hardware store excursion made me feel a little bit better. Of course they didn't have everything I was looking for, and most of what they had was bigger than what I need. But there are a few things there that I'm glad that I'll have. And the bike did its job. That little ring saves me from having to step over the lifeline when I tie up. It's the smallest of items and really important, and that's what this boat is filled with. Just little teeny, inexpensive, cheap little items, pins and screws and bolts and nuts, the little things.
according to radar, the ominous clouds on the horizon are going to miss me, and I'm going to avoid the storms. I'm hoping that all of the different tools that I use are accurate. But the latest is the greatest. I'm happy, I'm making progress. I'm about ready to open the sails once I can get around this point up ahead, and then I can actually go faster than under motor by a couple of knots for sure. Good wind, about 15 knots right now. Algoma Buffalo. Now you know where it is. Getting stoned, apparently, near a big rock quarry. So the plan is to stop in Alpena tonight, and then tomorrow to try to take advantage of good wind to get to Port Austin. So that gets me to the tip of the thumb of Michigan, and then work my way down to Port Huron and a couple of rivers on my way to Lake Erie. And for nearly the entire route from Sheboygan to Alpena, I would be traveling through the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary, a scuba diver's paradise. And as I made my way into Alpena that night, I certainly could understand the perils of trying to navigate those waters.
Going to be a cool start to a sailing day. 10 to 15 knots, though it sounds like it's blowing harder than that out there. Today, I'm definitely going to get out there early, going to sail, going to make some real progress. Big day yesterday, covering some miles. Go from the hand of the mitten to the thumb of the mitten, I guess is what I'm doing today. It's a big jump. To ocean-going sailors, it's not that big of a deal. But to me, it is right after I get out of bed and have my coffee. As cold out here as I thought it would be. You're going along for the ride on the chest for a while here today. Should be a good sailing day. Sporty looking sheriff's boat. I've only got the boat's name on one side. Since it was in the water, that's been kind of tough to get it on straight. We're sailing! The Genoa is up. We've got the wind behind us. It will be a sleigh ride for a while. We'll see if I can get a little bit stronger wind off the coast. Got a couple of options for where I'll go today. We'll see what the wind does. We'll see how strong it is. I could use a little bit more speed. I'm at about 6.5 knots right now and 12 knots of wind. And so we'll see what we can do. The following sea and a need to hand steer. Sparky can't really keep up, and was messing with the Genoa, moving the track, and when I did, the Genoa got wrapped. I've got to go forward and unwrap it. Right now 6.4 with no Genoa. Following seas and trying to run and split the sails without a whisker pole. Should have invested in the whisker pole. Just flying the Genoa, a big, almost 170 Genoa,
is just hard because as speed is gained, the sail collapses. As the wind shifts and as waves pick up the back of the boat and move it around, that makes keeping that sail up even more challenging. I'm going to untwist it and give it one more shot on this point of sail. That's the problem. Okay, success for the moment, but I'd left a fender up on the front cleat and I lost the fender. Can't quite go and get it. But this is the challenge, and maybe by moving the car I've got it figured out. Yeah, Sparky has a tough time keeping up in these conditions. I'll save him for later when I need a break. When I've got to do a little bit of work on the boat, I've had a couple of snagged lines today. You just saw the furler issue. The seas are lifting the boat and twisting the boat. You know, it's just a big workout for the autopilot, so I'll hand steer, do my best to keep the wind in the sails, and when I get tired I'll have Sparky take over for a while. I furled in some of the head sail, the Genoa, and it balanced out the boat a lot more. I had it overpowered in this wind with just too much sail up. And as you can see, the waves are pretty dirty, pretty choppy, and it's a bit of a rough ride. So less sail smooths out the ride a little bit. Sparky's doing a good job for the moment. The quartering sea is lifting the back of the boat and pushing me around and causing me to go downwind, then back upwind, and it's a little bit of an uncomfortable ride, but it's a beautiful sunny day. There are times when I feel like the boat's just in a nice slot, doing well, but we're not exactly running with the waves. The angle that we're getting hit at, gives us a bit of an uncomfortable ride. Gives me a bit of an uncomfortable ride. You may not be feeling uncomfortable. But we've got good enough wind to reach the destination tonight. It will be late, but I think there's a good chance I could be out of Lake Huron then in 48 hours, which would put me back closer to schedule. I'm happy about that. So, it's a beautiful day for a sail. Glad I've got less sail up, and the ride is now a bit more comfortable. And doing over 8 is good. For a moment, the Genoa sheet was stuck underneath my kayak, and it lifted one end and tried to launch it. That would have been fun. So far in this trip, I've lost a life jacket, now a fender, and almost my kayak. But it's fun. And I can't wait until I get to Lake Erie, the Welland Canal, Lake Ontario, Oswego, yeah, the Erie Canal, the Hudson. We'll see what I can get done before bad weather gets here and they close the Erie. A few big waves. I don't know, like the occasional 6-footer maybe. But just a lot of waves. Just really close together, really choppy. And so lots of activity. Lots of work for the auto helm. So I'll go back and start steering the boat. Thanks again for joining me. Okay, trying to shoot this at night, and I don't know any better way. I'm completely dependent on my instruments at night. I don't know how people could survive without them. I look at my instruments, I look up, and everything's black because they're bright. And so I've dimmed them down to just 10%, and they're still so bright. There's just not a lot that I can see when I pick up my head. I've turned on my deck lights. And so I'm going to go up in a few minutes, and I'm going to furl the Genoa, and in a bit I'll drop the main. I'm 9 miles from my destination. Sailing single-handed at night. I know lots of people do it. It's still spooky, and I'll feel a sense of accomplishment from this day when it's over. Right now it's just a little bit scary, and you know, my knees aren't knocking or anything like that. It's just I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to handle the next step until I do it. So it's living and learning and doing it in the dark, and I'm glad you came along. Thanks a lot, and however this ends, I'll tell you the story later. I won't be able to shoot. I've had a lot of fun, but it's just been, as I mentioned, a grueling day because of the quartering sea, just lifting the back of my boat and trying to throw the boat sideways all day, and the autopilot unable to anticipate those waves, whereas I can, and so I can try to maintain greater control and higher speeds, and of course on the water, speed is safety. So it's been an interesting day, and sorry if I look like Skeletor on here, but it was the answer because I can't quite figure out how to do the night vision thing on this camera yet. So anyway, thanks again for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and I'll have more adventures ahead. See ya. Man, this boating life is taking a toll on me. Maybe I can go back to bed now. That'll do some good. Hey, thank you for joining me again. I hope you enjoyed a real day of sailing. When you give the video a thumbs up, you feed the YouTube algorithm, and then YouTube will share this video with more people. I appreciate the crew being there with me, and I'll chat with you next week.